Hi, this is Tony Nasca with DovNet Software. We're here to talk about one of our old modules, but it's been rewritten and added a few more enhancements to the capabilities. And the module is called Estimate Complete. This module is not for the beginner. It's a very advanced module and requires lots of concepts to be put in place. So I'm going to go through the different aspects of this module. So we're going to bring up Project System. And the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the end results so you know where we're going. And the end results appear at the project level and at the list and status. So let's take you to a project. And this is a project where we've got labor estimated labor down here. And the ultimate goal is to be able to run a report under the job cost module. And when we run this report, it shows us at the beginning of the project where we are cost-wise. And you show here, we see our estimated hours, 43 hours, the fact that we've posted 10 hours to the time, and we understand we have anticipated there's another 33 hours of time left to be posted against device work. And the same down here for pre-wire, we estimated 31 hours, and we've actually expended 41, so we're over budget by 10 hours here. And then we have programming, project management time, and we estimated 3.1. We actually spent 5, so we're over budget there. So at the end of the day, right now, we're going to be over budget by 11 hours, assuming that all the rest of the time it works out normally. Now, of course, if we go under budget with these estimated times, then of course we'll come back to ground zero and have a balanced out project. So this is about future forecasting of a job. And then below it, you see your time being posted like you would normally see in the job cost module. The other part of this capability of this project is to be able to run these same reports on a mass level. So if we come down here to, if we look at our active jobs here and value, special, and we look at WIP, but we also include with breakout, this will then give us the same report that we saw for the individual project across all of our jobs. Now we get the accumulation of all the times, whether we're under budget, over budget, over time. And there is a detailed and a summary capability. I'm going to show you the detailed capability. Now I'm going to pause this tape because it takes some time to generate the report because it has to gather all the estimates and then put them against the actual time spent. So I'm going to pause this tape and we'll come back once this is finished. Okay, so now the system has finished and you see it's accumulated all the project value itself, and then it's what's been billed, the estimated cost, and then the actual cost, and what our estimated balance cost is. And you see here we have an estimated number of hours, and we've expended, and based on our finished time, what we anticipate it's going to take, we're going to be over budget on our time. And then you see it breaks it out by our different classes of labor. Programming here, we estimated 30 hours. We actually spent 35, so we're over budget. Then down here in drafting, we're okay. We haven't spent any time there. We did have some travel time, and we were over budget. We didn't estimate any travel time, but we had an over budget time of actual time of trouble time. And then so it goes down. So each project then gives us this analysis of our estimated versus actual time. And then at the end of the day, we can go to the bottom of the report, and now it looks at all the jobs that we have and the accumulation of how much time we're going to be either how much time we have left to work, our estimated hours, and what we have left to expend. So this becomes a very powerful capability where we can look at our jobs and whether we're going to be on track or not track. The other thing that this shows is how many estimated pre-hours we have on the books, how many estimated programming time we have on the books. So if you've done this, set this right, you can see how much trim work you have, and then you can base how much technicians you need to have on staff for the upcoming jobs. Now, the other really important aspect of this project is this forecast labor by dates. And again, I'm going to show you the detailed version of this. And I'm going to pause the tape again because this takes some time to accumulate all of our estimates. So I'm going to go ahead and press begin, pause the tape. Okay, it's come back. Now this is a very short number project because I've only done a few of them where I've actually done the work to program out and when I build this project. But you'll see that for this particular project, our time is going to be in March, okay? And then for the next time, we don't have any time in March, but you see in each of the appropriate months, these are going to be our times estimated with our total expenditure of hours, be it 61 hours like so. So now we can see that in July we're going to have 7 hours, and in October we're going to have 10 hours. Now if you can imagine, you put this across all your jobs, you can see where you're going to have all your how many hours are going to be needed, and then you can also weigh it out by type of labor. So this is a very cool report to watch. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the setup of this. So the setup of this is we first have to start off with cost codes. And so we come over here to our enhanced auto estimating system where we can set up our cost codes. And these are all the cost codes we set up. And they're most related to labor. We do have some equipment and some default ones that have to be in there. But you see we've got travel, trim, programming, testing, training, submittals, etc. These are case sensitive. They have to match out. So you have to be very careful about how you set these up. And then on the posting side, under Setup, Files and Systems, System Setup, we're going to go over here to Lists, and we come down here to Phases, and you'll notice we have the same phases here that match up. So you have to have the estimating side and then the posting side have to be in complete agreement with your different phases. Now, the next thing to make this easy to use would be to set up an assembly. So when you have your labor assembly, and I'll go ahead and set this up, you'll notice I have the cost codes already pre-assigned. So when I bring in this assembly for my labor, all my time has been pre-assigned to my cost codes. So the estimated portion of this is easy for the salesmen, and they're not, having to do them on a line-by-line basis. Okay, so that's the preliminary setup capability. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a project and do an estimate. Okay, so we're going to go over here, create the project like we normally would. Choose our customer. All this is just normal stuff, like so. Okay. Put this into our proposal to do status, like so. Okay, so now we have a project. It's been set up. Now, what I'm going to do is turn on a couple modules. The first thing I'm going to do is turn on auto estimating. Again, you'll need to have this module so that you can take advantage of those features. So I'm going to turn auto estimating turned on. Okay, and then I'm going to turn on the estimated cost capability. And so now we have the estimated cost capability, and you'll notice a new button that appears at the bottom, edit estimate cost to complete. Now, we're not there yet to use that module. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our estimate. So I'm going to quickly do a little flyer job and pause the tape for that while we're doing all that. Created an assembly. I'm going to use my assembly. I'm going to check off the items I want. I'm going to go ahead and set this to be 100 smoke detectors and 100 strobe lights. Reverse that, strobes and smokes. Click over there, drop those in like so. Okay, so we've got our material costs that have come into the project. And then we're going to go ahead, bring in our labor assembly, LABR assembly like so. And this is going to bring in all our time. Click over there, drop that in place like this. And then we're going to press the auto estimate button. And the system's going to appropriately bring in all our time. We've got pre-wire, device work, shop time, project management time, etc. Notice on the right, we have all the cost codes that have come in. Pre-wire, trim, shop, drafting, programming. Now, you'll notice if I come over here and I want to add some extra time, and so I will over insert a line, click part, or excuse me, L, 10 hours or 100 hours, whatever it is, it brings up our cost code list where we can go ahead and choose one of the cost codes. So this is why it would be important to have this time pre-assigned. So let's say we said testing, for example. Click over there, testing, 45, and there we go. We've got our testing. Now, of course, I'm not trying to be realistic in some of my times. I'm more about trying to demonstrate the capabilities of the module. So, and then we've got a, let's see, hit retotal. We've got a $39,000 project. Estimated cost is $20,000. And our gross profit is going to be 46%. There we go. So, now, so we would print out our proposal and come over here, print proposal, send the quote out to the clients, all this normal stuff, which is just normal to the project. Now, there we go. There's our quote. Thank you very much. And we're done with the quote. Now, and then we would go ahead, dutifully put the project over in proposals, waiting answers, like so. Click over there, we're done. Now, the project, we win the job. We have our little project here, okay? And now we turn the project over to the project manager. And you see we have our non-auto estimated hours. We've got a table labor type 1, labor type 2, training, programming, etc., project management time, field project management time, etc. And now where the estimate to complete module comes into place is right now. So we have this time and we press the auto estimate, edit estimate to complete. And then the first thing that comes up is it asks us, do we want to fill in the estimated hours into our project estimated hours? So do we want to finish estimate to complete with our project hours? And we're going to say yes. And then what we can do is we can tell the system what month the project begins. And because it's not going to be necessarily today, although we might have some time that starts right away. But let's say this project begins in June. So it's going to take all this time over here and establish the time in this project for the June period to start our project. Now notice that it starts off, this tape was written in February. So it starts the first month is February, and then it can be March, it can be May, and so forth. Notice it can go right on into next year. So you can actually say that the time is going to start next year. And of course, as the closer you get to the end of the year, it's going to be automatic. It's going to actually move this thing down and roll it forward. So you're looking at this project from today being February, and then let's say we're going to begin time on the project in May, whatever that is. And when you continue to hit continue here, the system is going to tell the estimate our time is going to start in May. So when I click in this, now it also wants a finish date when you think the project's going to be finished. which you can set up under. So what you see now is the system has taken the time and posted it into May. And you see we got a device work here. We have our testing work, our pre-wire, our drafting, etc. Now, we can take the time directly as was given to us by the project. But the other benefit of this module is that you can stagger the time out. So you have the ability as a project manager to re-estimate this job or reschedule the time as you think it's going to flow. And so you see we've got 113 hours, but I could say I'm going to have, let's say, 50 hours in this time period and another 10 hours here and another 10 hours here and another 10 hours here, like so. And let's say another 10 hours, let's say 20 hours out here. We'll say 30 hours just to get us close, and then we said 13. So we're back up to our original estimate. But you as the project manager can forecast out when you plan to use your time. And that way you can see what kind of time you're going to have over the course of a year for a project. And the same thing for testing. We're not going to do any testing right now, but all of our testing is going to come with a project out here, and we're going to do like so. Now, we're not really going to use, you can use these fields and the system won't use this for next year, but the fact of the matter is that the way this has been written and the change I've made is maybe there was going to be 80 hours in this month, and then next January there'd be another 20. So this, even though it says 15, this is actually, because it's again, this tape was written in February, so this is next year's time that we're posting. Again, we're out there for 100 hours total, so we haven't lost anything, and so forth. So, and then maybe, maybe the estimator blew it, and we need some engineering, and shoot, we're going to have to put some engineering in here, and we're going to have to be, 10 hours or let's say 20 hours of engineering. So this is automatically going to put this project into trouble because it was not estimated when the project. So again, the project manager can revisit the time and put his estimate of what this is going to take. And then what we're going to do is save this, and this will lock in this budget. So I click the save button like so. Click. Okay. And now we've locked it in, and we can set our finish time by going to heading section, dates. Estimated finish time is right here, and we said it's going to be next year. Let's say it's going to be next February. So we're going to put all the way out here in February of next year will be our finish date, and we'll just say February 29th and hit save. Okay. So now this time, now that we've got those established, when we come over here, click over here, notice the system has locked in all the time. So we see our estimated, so it's no longer down in this field right here. It's actually locked in our time. It's locked. This is our estimate, but it's also locked in our time. So we've kind of set our budgets. And you notice this is locked, and you can't actually edit these fields on purpose. So that way you don't disturb this estimate, because now we want to see how time plays out against this module. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up our job cost screen again, like so. And then you now see we have our estimated times here. And we've got no postings against this project. Now, I'm not going to do the material purchases and all that in this demonstration. That's just normal job costs, and we can do that, and of course that will be part of this mix here. I'm concentrating specifically on the estimate to complete from a labor position, and you'll notice we have our forecast. Our estimated finish time is right now 113. It equals what we estimated, and that's what we have left to estimate with, to work with. So I'm going to take a print screen for purposes of helping me do the posting now. So I'm going to take a print screen of this. Oh, okay, good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to post some time to our project. So we're going to go to our normal job cost inside the project system job cost. Now you can do this with external things such as TPS Mobile can post time against our project. The work order module, which is a laptop-based version of this. You can also post time internally, which is what we're going to do. And then you can also use external software to post time. But for our purposes, our project number is 9189. We're going to go over here to this guy, post labor to the project. And then we're going to choose our technician, 9189. And we're going to post some, for my first project I worked on, and let's say we had device work. So let's say we had, and I'm just going to again bring this up to make it, and that was in the device works trim time right here. Okay, and then regular time, overtime, all that kind of good stuff. And you could put notes on there as well, notes like so. And then the next project, again, I'm only going to want to use technician again just to make this relatively easy. We had pre-wire, so 81, 89, and then pre-wire, original estimate. And you, of course, would be doing this on a daily basis. And let's say we had another 50 hours of pre-wire, and we'll say pre-wire down here, like so. Okay. And then the next project I worked on was, we'll do some engineering, 91, 89, like so. And we'll do 5 or 10 hours of engineering, like so. And then we're going to go ahead down here and do engineering, like this. Okay. And then the next project, next technician worked on the project, 89, like this. And let's say we did some project management time. So we did 5 hours of project management time, like so, PM1. PM1 could be considered field project management, and PM2 could be office project management. You can set those up like so. And then the next time we're going to put some time against this project is documentation. So we come over here, 81, 99, and then let's say we said 5 hours of documentation. And then we'll come down here to documentation. I'll do drafting. I'm not sure why we don't have documentation on this list. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and do posting. Okay. Post. Okay. Of course, we have our different technician, post. But let's now go ahead and bring up now the same project. Okay. And then we come down to print, and we print a job cost report. And this is where the magic begins. So we now see our accumulated time for the different aspects of labor. So now we see we estimated 13 hours, and we posted 50 hours against this, and we have another 63 hours left in the budget. Right now, we're going to be equal. We'll be balanced out at 0 as long as we don't overshoot this thing. Same here with pre-wire. We estimated 50. We spent this, and we have a 39 hours balance left over. And then we have engineering time. We used our 10 hours. We got 10 hours left, and so forth. Project management and so forth. So all this looks good so far. Okay. Now what happens if we blow our budget? Okay. So and then if we actually go back, one more thing I'll look at here. What happens here is on the estimate to complete. Now you can see we've used our time up, and we've actually started whittling into other areas where we had not had any time left. So this starts the screen starts moving. We estimated 50. We used our time up there. We estimated this. We've got still 39 hours left. So you can see it starts moving our screen where our estimate is. Now you could, if you wanted to, re-estimate this job, But I would hope you would not, unless it's, you know, you see it's obviously wrong, and then of course you're wrong, but you're going to get your project's gone into trouble or something like that. But if we come over here to this guy right now, again, we'll choose this, and we'll just go ahead and put device work in 9189, and just to prove the point, let's say we put another 75 hours in here, and we'll just, that's trim time, and then we hit post like so, continue, done. Okay, and now let's go back into our project and post our print our estimate to complete screen again here. Okay, and now we see what's happened is now we've blown our budget and we're now into negative time. So this will let us know whether our project's going to be over budget. So right now, unless we've improved upon our time, we're going to be over budget in this project by 12 hours. Okay. Now, again, you may just say, well, maybe I'm done. So you can go back and maybe recorrect that time so I'm not going to be over budget. So that would be a reason that I'm done with this, so I can go back and estimate that out. But there you go. So now let's go back to list and status. So let's put our project that we are, or put our project into our list and status. So we're going to change status to work to do. And now we can go back and run the reports from list and status. And I click on this, value, special, and I'm going to click estimates to complete with detail again. In fact, I'll show you both. So I'll show you this one without detail first. Click over there. Pause the tape. All right, so here's a report, and you see it's a very high-level summary. It tells you we're going to be over budget, we're on track, we're good. Go to the bottom of the report, and we have here the project we just added, and it shows we're going to be over budget like so. Okay, now if I go ahead and run this with detail, click over here. And go to the bottom of the report and look at the one project we're talking about here. So here's our project, and it shows us the same information and the fact that we're going to be over budget. So now at a managerial level, you can look at all your jobs and see where you're at in all your different projects. We're on track, we're over budget, whatever those are. So this is very helpful to start planning and seeing where your manpower is. And then the last one is right here. You can see, you know, we're over budget in travel time. You know, we've got this many pre-wire hours out there on the jobs that we have to work in the next year or so, whatever that is. So this becomes a very powerful management tool, and it can tell you where you are and where your manpower is. The other report that's equally as nice that comes out here is this forecast by date. And when I run this guy, this shows us the time by month, so you can see where we're going to have our time, and you see here's where our schedule is for the project we just added, right here at the bottom here. Click here, excuse me, and it shows us we're going to have our time. This would be January, February, March, April, May, and see we're going to have our time. We're going to have, in this case, 76 hours. Of course, that's way low. And for the total project, you're going to have 186 hours left on this project. And then right now, this is the cumulative of all the hours we have left on the books to do. Of course, this is only a very short list. And this list is only looking at the projects where you've got the estimate to complete time included. Now, for some of my customers that have been using this module, this is going to be really cool because the data has already been filled in. For the new guys, you're going to have to put the estimates into the system with that estimate to complete screen, and then this becomes very powerful that you can see the time that you're going to have for these different modules. Again, we do have the dates at the time. Probably going to go ahead and put these little markers at the bottom so you can see them very easily. But January, February, March for that particular project, and so forth. So when we come down here at March at the bottom, there you can see there's the accumulation of all the time. So you can see by month where you're going to have your heavy times, and then we have a sum at the bottom. All right. So there you go. There is the new module called Estimate to Complete. I'm pretty excited because it's been a module that's been on the books for a long time, but I kind of had a revelation about it in the past couple weeks of how to make this module better for clients and easier to use. So I kind of rewrote some things. I had some other advanced concepts which were, quite frankly, almost too boggling. So I had to rein them in to be realistic on what we can mentally handle. The fact of the matter is the electrical world has been using this methodology for a long time, but now I've brought it to the project system. So there you go. Contact sales, and you're welcome to call with any questions about this module. Thank you very much for your time, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.